Alrighty then. Okay, so anyways, One Punch Man, for those of you who don't know, and how could you not, it's everywhere, was basically the anime of 2015. This was the thing everyone watched. Everyone enjoyed the show. Everyone loved it. People were declaring it like the best of the year. I think we both just seemed to thought it was okay.
It was Attack on Titan. We both thought it was okay.
Yeah. That's kind of was my reaction finishing it, like...
Means.
Yeah, this was okay. I mean... Well, first up, I think it's important to remember, like we discussed last time, there wasn't a ton of super great stuff in 2015 to begin with that really got the big attention. So I think when this showed up, it's a shonen, so it's going to get a lot of attention from that alone. It's technically got a franchise with it. I think that's what kind of got it in everyone's wheelhouse. But again, it's still good. I think it's sort of like with Star Wars, where our reaction was just sort of, for what it is, shouldn't it be more than this?
Mm-hmm.
First up, let's start off with the positives. Who's your favorite character?
The green-haired girl.
My favorite, I like Genos the best.
Well, I mean, Genos is cool too, but...
Mm-hmm. If not Genos, the bike riding guy really...
Bike riding guy is the realest, though.
That guy... And it was so stupid, because I remember he pops up in the first episode, and I'm just like, no, not some stupid...
Then he saves that girl's balloon.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, this guy's cool.
Yeah. But you're just sort of like, this is what we're going to waste time on. And everyone likes him and hates Saitama. What's that about?
Because Saitama is just, the whole premise of the show is fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
It's the first episode, it's so he's super fucking powerful that he can't, he kills everybody that he fights. That's the joke. And it's that's not really entertaining that he can just kill him whenever he wants. That's not, with shows like Attack on Titan or Sword Art, typical hype anime like this one, it's you don't know. I mean, it's an anime trope that, the main character will definitely always win in the end, but even still, it's at least it's it can go either way. Whereas this one, it's you just know, okay, he can just end this whenever he wants. And then the fucking Genos fodder of, he's only there to get the shit kicked out of him until Saitama decides to get his shit together, and it's oh, now I have to kill you.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot of it is, let's be real here, this is a very out there idea. I don't think most people would think of to do something like this. We've had things where the concept is James Bond, the whole premise is he's the best spy in the world type thing. Mm-hmm. Schwarzenegger is always supposed to be the pinnacle of what a person can be. This at least... this sort of takes that and kind of makes fun of it, where it's sort of, well, what would happen if you actually had a character like that who literally could do all that? So I think when you have an idea like that, there's going to be problems just from the execution, but I think a lot of it comes from just, you need to fill in the gaps. So what do you need for investment? Well, Saitama beats everyone in one punch, plus he's just sort of a normal dude, there's nothing that different about him. So what do you got? Make a cyborg. You need sort of tension, so give the bad guys a lot of exposition. That was funny, though, where it's the first couple of times, bad guy gives his whole exposition side, which is shut up, and just kills him. Mm-hmm. That was good, the first couple times, but I think by the end there, it was sort of getting grating. I remember with the Deep Sea King guy, what was that, a 2-3 episode arc?
What, the crab guy?
No, not the crab guy, I mean, towards the end when they were fighting the giant fish king guy. That was 3 episodes, and you thought at that point, okay, give this guy some level of thing to fight Saitama, but no, just one punch dead. And then, the final guy, the big boss of the whole thing, the one time you could have just made it that there's some investment, because he survived one of his punches. No, just Saitama barely breaks his foot, and he's just doing that same stupid look on his face the whole time. I hated that design, the face-wise. Mm. It's good in the comedy scenes, but then when you're supposed to take it seriously and he still has that dumb look, you just don't care. So, yeah, there's definitely some issues there. And you get back to that green-haired girl who you really like, she just came out of nowhere. I think they're trying to go for a lived-in feel. What did you think?
I mean, that's kind of why I liked her. It's oh, she's just out of nowhere. Okay, she's here now. Okay, even though she doesn't really have that much screen time. Mm-hmm. I don't know, it's I just thought she was a cool character, because every anime needs an obligatory loli, so,
Who has,
psychic powers.
Who wears no pants, and for her age has very long legs.
Yeah.
No. Someone told me that in the manga, where it goes from here, her and Saitama have a lot of fun dialogue.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think part of it is I would have liked to see more of the other heroes. I think we spent way too much time just on Saitama and Genos' friendship, which normally isn't a bad thing because you want to establish why these guys like each other.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is when Saitama just sees Genos as a pest half the time, and the other half of the time they're like buddy buddy. It was just kind of jarring at times. Because it felt like I wish the psychic girl got more attention. The dude with the mustache, the Elder Master, I wish he got more time. The samurai guy at the end there. Watchdog, man. There's a dude in a dog costume who's one of the strongest heroes around. Why did he get no time? Like, seriously, Watchdog, man, why aren't you in more of this? I did like the idea, though, that some of the heroes had gotten praised in so much that they were just egotistical, spoiled babies. Like at the end there, they can't even go to a meeting where they know there's serious danger, and then half of them don't even care enough to protect the city.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a really neat idea, because you think about it, that idea was in Gotcha Man Crowd, but where Crowds tried to shove that down your throat, I thought this actually executed it pretty nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the comedy was really funny. Like, you know, I love when Genos is giving his backstory, and right when it gets boring for you, that's when it gets boring for Saitama.
Yeah.
That was good. Was there any gags you liked in particular? Or?
Besides the okay and the fact that... Actually, that's about it, honestly, because everything else is like kind of annoying after a while. It's like, oh, Genos is just there to get the shit kicked out of him,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, he's a robot, so let's break him up into so many pieces that it's pretty much impossible that he can be even alive at this point. And it's like, oh, now it's my turn to just kill you, so that's cool.
Yeah.
And it just gets so annoying after a while that, like, sure, I don't get why this anime is like the huge hype, besides the fact that nothing else came out. That's about it. That's the only reason why people gave a shit about this in the first place. Not to mention, it's been a long-standing manga from fucking Shonen Jump that everyone wanted. Mm-hmm. So, besides the fact that everyone wanted this anime for like a long time, and that there was nothing else in it, like in the season itself, essentially, I think that's the only reason why this anime is even as popular as it is.
Yeah.
Because if you take all that away, and if it was like in a season where there's a lot of good anime,
Mm-hmm.
like sure it would stand out, but even still, it's like no, I probably wouldn't even have watched.
I think that if this was just some random anime we found on like a link to something else, I think we just sort of came and went. And I think it kind of knows that, too. Like, I think it knows it's not as great as everyone hypes up to be. Because you look at the way it ends, like, it just stops. There's no ending. And I know this is typical Madhouse bullshit, and a lot of people were afraid to... I was afraid to watch it, because I know Madhouse has a history of not continuing anything. You know, I'm still waiting on Black Lagoon Season 3. Yeah. But the thing is that the way the show ends, it is so blatantly trying to get a second season, it was almost cringeworthy.
Well, I mean, they did say there was apparently a second season. And the guy who makes the manga actually said, I'm trying to make there a second season.
Yeah, like...
Even though essentially they think it's confirmed for fourth quarter next year, or this year.
Yeah. Which could happen. I mean, apparently this thing didn't have a big budget.
Not surprising.
Yeah, but you look at what it accomplished, like, it's a great looking show.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
it's a visual appealing is like an understatement.
Mm-hmm. Like, I love that when he punches people, the detail, like when they blow people up, that could be such a nothing shot, but every time he blows someone up, it's crazy to look at. That final fight between him and the alien thing, I love the way the alien thing looked, but just sort of the way they're going about and all the colors and all the explosions. I know it's not realistic, but it looks so damn awesome. It's just that, but there's no investment, because Saitama can't get hurt, and he doesn't even look like he's getting hurt.
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand. I think that they wanted to bake their cake and eat it, too. I think you could have had it that Saitama would get challenged by the bigger bosses of story arcs and still be called One Punch Man. I think you could have gotten away with that just fine. You know, I think it's more important for something that's trying to sort of have a social media type outlook to it and talk about that stuff. I think you could have gone away with that just fine. You know, that could have been like the joke, like his inner struggle is on his day-to-day life. He can't fight anyone dangerous, so the only serious fights he can get into are people who are about to destroy the city. What do you think of Saitama just as a character? Forget the whole action thing, like him as a guy.
I liked him more before he became a superhero.
Yeah.
Like when he was like the business guy.
This really was a Joe Schmo character. Like, this guy was...
The fucking kid with the tit chin pissed me off immensely.
Even though that was a minute long.
Exactly, it just pissed me off.
It was jarring, because at first I thought, okay, is this going to be like a Bobobo type thing where everyone is just going to have, like, or a Kill La Kill, well, for the more recent anime viewers, Is everything just going to have that really over-the-top, zany design? But nope, it's just that kid. That confused me to no end. Because you think it's going to be like that, but it's not. I mean, some of the bad guys' introductions are funny, like that crab guy. I love that it's crab on top, person on bottom, and then he's just like, oh, I got this way because I ate a lot of crab. That made me laugh. Because you expect something crazy and convoluted, just, nope, I ate a lot of crab. And it sets the world up fine. I didn't like the idea of a world where superheroes just are. Like, this is just the normal day-to-day, so it would make sense that people wouldn't react that crazy to Saitama because they just see it every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it is sort of a big according. I did love the social media sort of message, like after this Deep Sea King guy is beaten, and the one guy is insulting all the other heroes of, oh, how weak they are if this dude could beat him in one punch. I like how that spread. I like how that spread to the whole crowd very quickly. Everyone turned on everybody. Because that is what we see nowadays with the internet and all that stuff and social media. That was very good. Again, way better than Gotcha Man ever did it. So all that was done clever, but yeah, no, I think there was a lot of room for improvement. That's not to say it won't come. Again, they sort of gone at this whole show with a decent sense of humility. But I think when it comes down to it, would you ever want to watch this again?
Probably not.
Even if the dub comes out?
I might look at it. I might, because I haven't even watched the Kill la Kill dub, even though I want to. I'd probably like look into it, and then besides that, put it on my I'll never get to it list.
I feel like part of why Kill la Kill, because let's be real here, this is, when you think about it, kind of similar. Yeah, I think they're part of the reason that worked more than this did, at least for me, is that Kill la Kill was so over the top and so in your face, but it looked so cheap and it looked so crazy. It just felt like its own unique thing that even if you didn't really follow like what's in the media, like with fan service or with the way comedy and anime is done, you could still find a lot of it entertaining or enjoyable. This, I think, really relies on you knowing about things like superhero, which isn't a terrible thing, but it's going to hurt this thing as time goes by. Like, if Season 2 were to come out tomorrow and if it's better, I think people will forget about Season 1.
Exactly.
I really think this thing just worked because there was just nothing else to hype over. But it is still fine. I do still enjoy it. It's just not a ton you can say. And also, my big issue was, did you feel like some things were over-designed? Like, the way the city gets destroyed almost made me feel uncomfortable at times.
It's like, oh man, fucking city's destroyed.
Well, it's
Trucks, guys.
Well, it's like when you open the show with the Piccolo-looking guy, which I also liked. I liked that a lot of anime characters in this had references to other stuff. But when, like, the Piccolo guy, and he's standing in front of that little girl who looks like she's just watched her parents die, and they do this trope several times. And then Saitama comes in time for goofy moments, I'm like, that doesn't work. Or at least not as well as they want it to. That made me feel uncomfortable. I know that sounds like a crazy thing to a lot of people, but when you just sort of, you need to have some sense of what is the value of human life in this world. Like something like Attack on Titan, people die all the time. You care when it's the people you like, but for the most part, you watch people dying that you don't care that much. Then you get something like Kill la Kill where nobody dies, but you're okay with it because everything's so lighthearted. This definitely, because clearly people had to have died. A lot of people, but they don't, either they don't want to address it or they don't know how and still be funny, to which case then don't make a lot of destruction or just make everything look silly. I think the show looks too good for the type of humor it's going for. Like if it had kind of a crude, dirty look, you could just sort of accept everything, but I feel like it's just too much. But again, look, you know, I am glad it exists. I'm glad we have a show that answers the question, what if you just made something like this? And it is different.
Superman?
Yeah. Like, it is different, and it is weird, and it is unusual, and it is original. I am glad for that. I really am, and I'm glad it showed up. I just think, again, it's way too overhyped. This isn't the kind of anime I would show someone as like a first anime, though a lot of people who don't watch anime did check it out and liked it, so make your own decisions, I guess that's sort of... If you're watching a spoiler discussion, then I assume you watched it already. But, yeah, got any final thoughts on this one?
If you're looking for another hype anime, Attack on Titan Season 2 comes out in 2 months.
Bit better. And my final thoughts are, it's good, it's okay, go in with that mentality and you'll be fine. But other than that, I think for my final score, 7 or 8, I'm going to go with 7 for right now.
I'm giving it a 6.
Okay. And so that was that. We tackled the biggest hype anime of the year. You think we're going to get angry comments because we brought up a lot of problems?
Probably.